Hello everyone, welcome again to Anuban Pibunwe School channel. I'm here again, Teacher Errol, to teach you science. Let's start. First, we discuss Unit 2, Living Things and the Environment. In Unit 2, we are still in Lesson 1, which is Living Things and their environment. So don't get confused with these two because they are different. And before we start, we proceed first with 10 vocabularies. Number 1, food chain. Number 2, we have sunlight. 3, we have energy. 4, photosynthesis. We will discuss more about photosynthesis later on. Number 5, we have food web. 6, producers. 7, consumers. 8, herbivore. 9, we have carnivore. And lastly, number 10, we have omnivore. I did not include the Thai translation for each vocabulary, so it will be your responsibility to find the meaning in the dictionary. It's part of your worksheets actually. Okay, let's start. We will discuss about energy flow in the environment. Let me read. Sunlight is a source of light and heat energy. That's correct. Plants use light energy to make food during photosynthesis. If you can still remember the discussion way back in Prathom 4, you discuss about photosynthesis. But I will make a brief discussion later on. This food is then used as energy by other living things. Let's look at the picture. In number 1, we have the plants draw up water and minerals from the ground through the roots. This is the first process of photosynthesis, wherein water and minerals come up from the roots to distribute to all different parts of the plants. Second, we have the leaves take in carbon dioxide from the air and release oxygen. The third process is sunlight gives chloroplast energy to make sugar or the food. In the sunlight, part of chloroplast energy stored this light energy. So that's how they make their own food, the plants. So I hope photosynthesis is clear now and you can still remember the discussion. Next. So energy moves from one living thing to another as a chain. We call this food chain. Okay, let's look at the next slide. We have an example of food chain. So let's read what is in the box. We have rabbit, falcon, caterpillar, bee, goldfish, lion, snake, and grass. Let's complete the sentence. Grass eaten by a... Who eats grass in the picture? Correct, it's a rabbit. And a rabbit eaten by... Who eats the rabbit? Any idea? Correct, it's the snake. Okay? A snake eaten by a... Now, the last one, who eats the snake? It's a falcon. Falcon is a type of bird. Let's complete the sentence. The blank can make their own food. Who makes their own food? It is the grass, correct. And the rabbit, the snake, and the falcon eat other living things as their food. Food chain. A food chain is the living things in every habitat feed on one another, from producers to consumers. So the energy moves from one living thing to another. We will discuss more about producers and consumers later on. Next, we have here an example of energy. Look closely with the energy of the plants. It's still full. They have 4 bars. After which, a caterpillar eating plants, one of the energy bar is reduced. A frog eating a caterpillar, also the energy bar reduces to 2 bars. And lastly, a snake eating a frog reduces 3 bars. So the last energy will be stored to the snake, but lesser energy. In food chain, let me read. A food chain starts from plants that get light energy from the sun and use it to make their food. It's correct. They keep this food as starch in different parts of their body. So plants are producers in a food chain. Don't forget, plants are producers. Okay? On the other hand, animals cannot make their own food. Of course, animals cannot cook their own food. They cannot make their own food. Have you seen a monkey cooking fried chicken? No, they cannot. So they have to eat plants or other animals to get energy for their living. So basically, animals are consumers. Animals only eat. They cannot make their own food. Quick example of food chain. We have number 1, producer, which is a plant. Primary consumer, the worm, is the first one who eats. Secondary consumer, the bird eats the worm. Tertiary consumer, the third one, is the snake. The snake eats the bird. And lastly, the top consumer, the apex predator, it is the falcon. Falcon eats the snake. Okay? Quick look for this 4 animals conversation. We have the caterpillar. Let's see about how does this caterpillar say. The leaves are yummy. That's what the caterpillar say. The next one, I'm hungry, so I'd better eat that worm. That's what the bird say. Third, I want to eat that bird. The snake said. And lastly, that snake will be my lunch. This is still an example of food chain. Next. Question. What is a producer? Do you have any idea what is a producer? Producer are living things that make their own food through photosynthesis and keep it as starch. Okay? Next. Question. What is a consumer? Any idea? A consumer are living things that do not make their own food. Meaning to say, they live by eating other living things. There are three kinds of consumers. We have number one, herbivores, second, carnivores, and third, omnivores. Let's continue. What is herbivore? A herbivore are animals that eat only plants. We have elephants, horses, cattle, caterpillars, rabbits, and small fish. They eat only plants. How about carnivore? What is carnivore? Carnivore are animals that eat other animals only. They primarily eat meat. We have frogs, snakes, lions, tigers, crocodiles, falcons, and fox. Last one. How about omnivore? What is omnivore? Omnivore are animals that eat both plants and other animals. We have dogs, cats, turtles, monkeys, rats, and chickens. Okay, so I hope you understand the three different types of consumers, because later on in your worksheets I will be asking 10 examples of each, and don't write the same example as I shown you in this video. So you have to think of your own or search the internet. Let's continue. Now we talk about food web. In food web, let me read. In nature, food chains are big and have many parts. One producer is food for many kinds of consumers. I mean to say, one consumer, there's a lot of one producer, there's a lot of consumers eating the producer. And some consumers eat many kinds of food. Correct. So when we draw the food chains, it will be mixed with many plants and animals. A big and mixed food chain with empty plant and animals from a habitat is called a food web. Sorry, that's supposed to be B. In the slide, we have a group of living things in one habitat. The flower, eaten by bee and butterfly. The pollen of the flower, the nectar. And this butterfly eaten by Hillmina. And this Hillmina eaten by falcon. Again, vegetables and weeds. Vegetables eaten by worm and rabbit, so as the weeds. And this rabbit eaten by falcon and fox. Lastly, the grains or rice eaten by magpie and rat. And this rat being eaten by a fox or owl. So this is an example of food web. So stay safe and stay at home, guys. See you again with the next video. Bye bye.